Hey coders, welcome to Medical Coding Scenarios, brought to you by CEU Hub, where coders connect. Quick disclaimer, CEU Hub provides educational content for informational purposes only. This content does not constitute professional coding advice. Always verify codes using current official coding manuals, guidelines, and payer-specific requirements. Hey everyone, welcome back to Coding Scenario Sundays. This is episode 7, an emergency department visit for an allergic reaction. Today's scenario. Our patient name is Lisa Johnson and she is 45 years old. She presents to the emergency department today because she was out to dinner and ate shrimp for the first time. About 30 minutes later, she broke out in a widespread itchy hives across her body. Let's take a look at the documentation. She has generalized urticaria following shellfish ingestion. Dr. Webb performed a thorough physical examination, confirming raised erythematous wheals across the trunk, arms, and neck. She was treated with IV antihistamine and IV steroids and discharged in stable condition. Looking at the assessment, Dr. Webb documented two things: the allergic urticaria as the primary condition and the new onset shellfish allergy. Start with our primary diagnosis. We're going to open up our ICD-10 index and we're going to look for the word urticaria. We're going to start at urticaria, and from urticaria, we're going to go allergic. That gives us the code L50.0. So we're going to note that, and now we are going to look up our secondary code. So we're going to continue in the index, and we're going to look up allergy. So we're going to go allergy, and from allergy, we're going to go food. From food, we're going to go status. Our status is with reaction. So from status, we're going to go seafood. And the seafood gives us Z91.013. And we're going to take that to the tabular. But before we take the Z code to the tabular, we're going to go with our primary code first, which is the L50.0. So we're going to go to the tabular and look up L50.0. Now that we're in the tabular, let's take a look at our code L50.0. Before we go there, we're going to look at our parent code. And our parent code says urticaria, and it has a bunch of exclude one notes. And none of these exclude one notes apply to us. So we're going to look at our code because we already have our specific code. Our specific code is the L50.0, and that's allergic urticaria. So that's our primary code, the L50.0. Now we're going to look up our Z code in the tabular. Before we look at our specific code, we're going to take a look at our parent note. And it says for the Z91, personal risk factors not elsewhere classified. And so we're going to take a look at our exclude two notes. And then we go down to Z91.0. That gives us allergy status other than to drugs and biological substances. And it says see official guidelines. So if you want to pause the video and look at the guidelines for this category of Z codes, it gives you the section of where to look here. So that section I, and then point C, point 21, point C, and then point 3. So for that Z91.0, allergy status, and then we go down to the Z91.01, it says food allergy status. And then our specific code that the index gave us was the Z9113. So the Z9113 says allergy to seafood, allergy to shellfish, allergy to octopus or squid ink. So our code is the Z91.013, allergy to seafood. And in our case, it's shellfish because that was documented in the EMR. So we have found our secondary code. Now we're going to trade our ICD-10 book for our CPT book. Now that we have our CPT book, we're going to look up our emergency department visit. Usually I'll start in the index, but since we already know that our evaluation and management codes are in the first chapter, we're going to skip the index. But if we were to look in the index, we will go to the index and we'll look up under evaluation and management. From evaluation and management, it will go emergency department visit, and then it will give us a range of codes. And the range of codes will start at 99281 through 99285. Let's look at those codes in the tabular. Now that we are in the tabular, let's find our emergency department visit. In the emergency department, E&M levels is based on medical decision making only, no time-based billing for ED visits. So, based on the number of complexity of problems, Dr. Webb documented one acute uncomplicated illness, which was the allergic urticaria with no systematic involvement. So that's low. The amount of complexity of data, there was a clinical exam and monitoring only, no labs ordered, no imaging, no external records review. So that is minimum. And then our risk of complications was the IV medication were administered and a prescription was written at discharge. So that's prescription drug management. So that's actually a moderate risk. But remember that MDM is based on 2 out of 3 elements. So if we look at the 2 elements, we have a low problem, minimum, and a moderate. So the 2 out of 3 elements are the low and minimum, and that keeps our overall MDM at low. So we're always going to look through any guidelines or instructional notations that we see. So if you want to pause the video and read through this, you can. We're going to go to our emergency department codes. And like I said, it starts at the 99281. And that 281 says emergency department for evaluation and management of a patient that may not require the presence of a physician or other qualified healthcare professional. And we know that that's not the case. So we're going to go down to our 99282 that says emergency department visit of evaluation and management of a patient, which requires a medically appropriate history and or examination and straightforward medical decision making. And we know that's not our code because we are not looking for straightforward, we're looking for low. So then we're going to end up here at the 99283, which is the emergency department visit for evaluation and management of a patient which requires a medically appropriate history and or examination and low level medical decision making. So looking at this code, it points out that it is our low level code. And so our CPT code will be the 99283. Let's do a quick recap. So our CPT code is going to be the 99283, and that's for the emergency department visit of low medical decision making. Our first ICD-10, which is our primary diagnosis code, is going to be the L50.0, and that's allergic urticaria. And our secondary code is going to be the Z91.013, and that's allergy to seafood. Key takeaways. Emergency department E&M coding is medical decision making only. No time-based billing in the emergency department. The emergency department codes range from 99281 through 99285. Medical decision making is based on 2 out of 3 elements, so always evaluate all 3 before assigning a level. The Z91.013, the allergy to seafood, Always check the tabular include notes to always confirm any specific details. And the documentation drives the codes, right? If it's not documented, it didn't happen. That is it for Coding Scenario Sundays. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next Saturday with another coding scenario. Until then, keep coding.